Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about languages. So, why do I talk about languages? I'm a kind of a tech person. Why do I talk about languages? It's because I recently, like previously, in a moment when I was opening YouTube, I somehow found like, oh, someone made a language. Like I clicked on it, and somehow I know, oh, pretty cool. That's a language, and then before I know, I already jumped the rabbit hole of languages and already, read a lot of stuff about languages. I think it's pretty cool, and I want to tell you, I want to maybe share some stuff about you. Okay, so what is language? Let's define a language. So language is the form, like something that we use to talk to each other, to communicate to each other, to exchange information from one another. It's like the way that we speak, like me speaking English in front of you guys using English language to, talk about languages, and you guys maybe to one of you guys talking using the Indonesian language, or maybe some traditional languages like Javanese or Sundanese to each other to, say something, to communicate, to transfer information, exchange information from one another. So, what is language? Like, how does language work? Like, so a language is like, there's something like called grammar. A grammar is how language, like how words are structured. And in grammar, there are language features. Language features are like the features, the way how you describe something. In a language, maybe like in English, there's something like called present tense, past tense, past continuous tense, and etc. Those are the way how you describe things in a language. And then those words, then those features, they are then words. Words are, words. Each words are different. There are nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives. Everything are combined together to make features, and features combined together to make grammar, and grammar makes sentence. Sentences that people can understand, and that other people can understand. Well, now that we've talked about the English language, maybe like have you ever wondered why do we all speak the same language? How do we know? How do you talk Indonesian? Like, where do we know? Because humans have a special brain area that is used to kind of understand a language, maybe learn a language from a child. When they were little, their parents speak a language, even though the child don't understand what their parents mean. The child has a special brain area, and they can recognize patterns and maybe understand what they're saying. Time by time, they start to talk. Their parents start to maybe correct their maybe wrong sentences, and then those process continues on and on and on until you're able to speak a language. And wow, you can speak to a lot of people because there's a lot of people with the same language. So have you ever wondered why does Indonesian exist? Why aren't there just one language for one world? Why does Indonesian, Chinese, Japanese, why do they exist? Well, because language evolves. They don't just exist, they evolve as well. It's like the Indonesian language. Also, everybody have any of you wondered why Indonesian and Malaysian are a bit similar? Some maybe can understand some Malay words, some Indonesian words from each other. Well, that's because languages evolve. People migrate from other places to other places, and they carry their language. Maybe they change a little. So let me tell a bit of story about the Indonesian language. So it all started from the indigenous people of Taiwan on the side of China. Not the Chinese people, before the Chinese people migrate from the China because of the Communist Revolution, but yeah, that sort of way. The indigenous people of Taiwan migrated down south to Luzon, an island in Philippines, the northernmost island in the Philippines, and then migrated down to Indonesia, to Australia, and to micronations, if you've ever known. It's like Hawaii, Tuvalu, stuff like that. And then the language become, they diverge. They diverge to multiple languages like Javanese, Tagalog, Malaysian, Sundanese, and they all kind of share some kind of similar vocabularies. Like maybe in Sunda you have a word like dahar. In Javanese there's also dahar, but it's kind of a bit different. In Javanese, dahar means to eat, but in a very formal way, very you say it to maybe your old grandparents. But in Sunda, maybe it's a bit a bit rough. You usually use it to your friends. That's because they diverge from the same ancestor. Well, now that we've talked about maybe real languages, have you ever known about constructed languages? Languages that are made by people, made with just writing it. They don't evolve. They're just made. There are languages like that. For example, the language maybe you've known Esperanto. Esperanto is a language that is constructed manually, like they made the grammar, they made their own words, they actually got their words from European languages and kind of combine them together, make a simple grammar so that it's easy to understand. Its purpose is so that we can have like one language that is easy to understand and be able to kind of, be learned easily by a lot of people. There are also stuff like Tokipona. There's actually lots. I can't list it all because I don't remember any of them. Well, maybe I guess that's all from me around languages. Thanks for listening, I guess. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.